Well, I stayed up late again. And believe it or not, it wasn't because anything was on. It's just, well, I know I've eaten this home a lot lately, but, I try and call my mom a lot. And she was off. It's just that, she couldn't answer her phone. So it's almost like 10 o'clock at night. I'm really already in bed. And that's when I get the call saying, my mom is calling me. I better answer, and so I do. And, I didn't talk long. I just wanted to talk to her about a couple of things. By all accounts, these things really weren't important. In fact, you'll be seeing eventually what they are. Until then, however, I can just say that, I really am glad I have been taking the time to talk to my mom. And plus, she's going to be working today and Thursday. So, actually, I can always talk to her after she gets back. Shouldn't be. Well, here's the thing. She works at the hospital in... Well, here's the thing. It's called Corning Hospital, even though it's in Big Flats. Seriously, for my mom, it's like a 5-minute drive. I'm not even kidding. She could practically sleep in until like a half hour until she has to be there. I mean, she doesn't, she does get up early and get stuff done, as we all do. But, for the most part, it's a really close drive. And if any one of you works at that hospital, then, you probably know who she is. But the way I like to describe it for those who don't know, if it's a short woman who walks a lot faster than most people run, that is my mother. Have fun trying to catch her, by the way. The sad part is she's had like 2 knee surgeries and she still walks faster than most people. It's unbelievable. Huh. Actually, you know what? I do have a funny story to tell you on this happiest of hump days. So, I'll actually never forget this. And this really does coincide with how fast that my mom walks. This was like years ago. I think, I forget the year, but I remember what we were doing. We actually had finished seeing the movie Recess School's Out, which is an awesome movie, by the way, and I highly recommend it, especially if you're a 90s kid who watched Recess, the show. The Recess movie was awesome. Great animation, love the characters, love the voice cast. The soundtrack was amazing. Plus, it's got the late, great Robert Goulet, which is always nice. Yes. So, we just got out of the theater, and we have to walk to the car. Now, under normal circumstances, you would think, because the parking garage really isn't that far from the movie theater, it's not that far of a walk, right? Well, here's the thing. My mother actually had a couple errands to run, and she had parked outside of, I want to say, wow, this might actually very well date the video. It was by the Sears at the Arnott Mall. Roughly in that ballpark area, if you will. So, it was a bit of a walk. Nothing too strenuous or whatever. But remember, this is my mother we're talking about. She walks faster than most people run. And this is before she had any surgery, so you can only imagine. She walked so fast, there are times I had to trot and sort of run, a little bit of jog, just to be able to grab onto her hand and hold on to her hand as we're going. Because again, it was really bad. Here's the thing though, it was my mother, myself, and my brother. We legitimately left my brother behind. We got to the car and I'm staying directly behind my mom because I was smart enough to know, okay, my mom is walking fast. If my brother does not catch up to her, that is his problem. That is his own gosh darn fault. So we actually get all the way to the car. My mother finally turns around saying, "Where's your brother?" I'm like, "I don't know. You walk so fast that I wouldn't be surprised if you left him behind." So my mom told me to wait in the car, and she went to go find him. Eventually, she did. Thankfully, it wasn't like a big, grandiose spectacle. Like, you didn't have to talk to mall security or anything of that nature, at least to my knowledge. But, man, did my brother get an earful for that. Yes, even though my mother was the one who walked very fast, and even though she should have been paying attention to both of us, my brother was the one who got the earful. Yeah, I love my mother, but her logic is very backwards a lot of the time. Yes. Needless to say, I have never not kept up with her when she walks. I mean, granted, I'm a full-grown adult, and I'm much taller than she is. My legs are also longer than hers are. So, keeping up with her really isn't that difficult. But at the time, I don't even know what to tell you. I mean, seriously, I'm not the only one who thought this either. Like, my mother's worked at the hospital up in Sayre, Pennsylvania, and she's worked in Corning. Everyone she's ever worked with will tell you that, will tell you how fast she walks. I mean, for starters, I'm glad I'm not alone. That's the important thing. Like, I never want to be alone when it comes to worrying about how fast, about losing my mom, in terms of how fast she walks. But jeepers, it was bad. Whew. Huh. So, anyway, actually, I'll never forget that time. It was also during a time in my life when, okay, here's the thing. My father really does take the family being at church very seriously, particularly making it to church on time. And I didn't know this until, actually, when I was like in college or whatever, when, once again, my brother made us all late for church. I mean, yeah, I was an adult and I could drive, but, take one car to get there, right? So, my brother made us late for church, as per usual. And by the way, the whole walking fast story I just mentioned involving the mall and the Recess movie, that was another reason why we were almost late for church that weekend. Now, this particular weekend happened years later, when I found out that my father really does take it very seriously as to whether or not we make it to church or not. So, we're going up to the Corning exit, and my mother says, "Oh, your father's going to be so upset with me." I'm like, "Your father's going to give me the dirtiest look." I'm like, "Okay, come on, Mom, you're over-exaggerating a little." "No, he always does." So, at that time, I'm like, okay, she's clearly making this up, but I am curious. You piqued my interest. I'll see if it's true or not. Sure enough, half the time during church, I'm sitting next to my father to make sure this is legitimately true, by the way. He leans over. My mom is sitting way at the other end of the pew. He just leans over like half the time. I'm like, holy cow, my mom actually wasn't kidding. Now, my father knew for years that if we ever are late for anything, 99.9% of the time it is, in fact, my brother's fault. Why? Well, for starters, he took a lot longer showers than anyone in the family did. I mean, you have to shower, you ready for church, you have to look nice, as per usual. Another thing he would do, this is also during a time he really, really, really paid attention to his hair. Like, to put things into perspective, yeah, I've done videos where I've talked about, fix my hair, stuff like that, my hair is amazing, stuff like that. My brother was nearly downright obsessed. It was unbelievable. This is around the time, they had, gel, where he'd, do this with his hair, or whatever. You can't really tell, because I clearly did not use gel right there, but it's still, on the for the most part, pretty, you get the idea what I'm saying here. At least I hope you do. What else? And again, there'd be times where I'd be waiting in the car. And, my mom would be waiting in the car would be outside the driveway. We would have waited. It's not like we waited forever for my brother, but needless to say, he was always the last one outside. But then again, what helped is that I had the foresight to think, my brother's going to take a particularly long time to get ready. Maybe I should get ready first and not take as long, so my brother really does have all the time he needs. Here's the thing. There were times my brother went first, and he did take long. Very long. Here's the thing, though. I actually got used to getting ready so incredibly quickly that it made no difference whatsoever. Yes, I guess is the song that, there's a song that actually describes my brother during that time very well, and that's the fact that he's so vain. He'd probably think this song was about him. My father loves that song, by the way. Yes. So, needless to say, I have always kept up with my mother when she walks. I know to never be late for anything because of my brother. I really could go into further detail, but all I really need to say is this. He really was almost late for his own wedding. I'm going to give you a moment to laugh at that. There you go. He really was almost late for his own wedding. Seriously, we're all outside, tux is on, at the limousine. He is the last one inside the limousine, and we had to go all the way to Keuka College for the ceremony. Don't worry, to all of my future groomsmen, you all know who you are, I will not take as long. In fact, I will be on you if you are the ones making us late, okay? That's how seriously I take it. And you're probably asking, if you've known me forever, you know I'm always early to a lot of things. I'm always like one of the first ones there, etc. And you're asking, Nick, why are you always so prompt? Why do you always take time being early? Well, it really does go on into the fact that my late grandfather really was one who valued promptness a lot. Seriously, one time it got so incredibly bad that my mother didn't say to my grandfather when we were going to arrive or something like that. My grandfather got so angry, it made my mother cry. Hard crying. That was one of the few times I've ever been legitimately angry at my grandfather for making my mother cry. But it was through that I learned I will never not be late for this man. Ever. And, I wasn't. Never was. Heck, I was the first one at the calling hours. That's how prompt I was. Partly because I wanted to make sure I knew what compartment I was supposed to put my final thank you note in. But for the most part, I was there because, well, he brought on me, I guess. I know I have sort of beaten the fact that my grandfather is long gone to death. And, yeah, you guys are, if you were sick of it and you didn't want to watch these videos because of that, I wouldn't blame you. But, this is sort of a grieving process. It helps. Plus, it's not like I talk about him every day. And, talking about your feelings is always the best medicine for it. Because you can't OD and the refills are free. So, yeah. Honestly, I'm really glad I have that sort of quality about me. Plus, whenever you arrive early at parties, the food is always fresh and it's always delicious. So, there's that. Hey, listen, all the best. Hey, listen, man, the early bird gets the worm. It really is true. Actually, some cultures really do eat worms, so yeah. I guess that for some cultures that saying really is legitimately true. Only instead of birds, it's people. Like, favorite, share, hit the subscribe button, follow me on social media platforms, turn on notifications on YouTube. I'm very happy with this video for all you guys watching the show today, and hopefully you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful hump day. You're ready to watch The Masked Singer, I'm going to do that. Oh, and also Zoe Kravitz is going to be on Hot Ones, so I'll get more of that tomorrow. And remember, my talking channel is going to be here to lend an ear, and I'll always be back. Take care, and make good choices. See ya.